Hi there and welcome to another Klemi training video. This is just a brief one to show you how to get started by creating a bunch of services. Now here we are in our test installation. There are a bunch of services in here already. So in this case, let's just say it was time to do some more planning. We wanted to plan some services after October the 18th and it was time to create some more. So the menu items appear on the left hand side here. Under services we've got the service creation wizard. Now the way the service creation wizard works is in a series of rows and columns. What we do first is we start with our first sort of template service. So let's say we're going to do the 9:30 at St Samples. Sermon title is going to be Leave, and it's part of the Faith 101 series, and it's going to be a service of morning prayer. Those categories, by the way, are something that you need to create, so we pre-created those categories, so we were able to choose which one. Now as we scroll down, there's a save button there, but I'm not going to press that yet because what I want to do is create a series of services. So let's have another service on the same day. I'm going to add a column. In a moment you'll see the use of this. Okay, at St Samples we also have an 11 o'clock, and actually at the 11 o'clock we do exactly the same thing as at the 9:30, and we also have a 5 o'clock service, 5 p.m. It's different. Well, not really, it's the same thing, isn't it? And that's actually going to be an evening prayer service. Okay, so this is our basic template for every Sunday at St Samples. Now, just for simplicity's sake, we're going to create these services from, let's say, Sunday the 3rd of December onwards. Now, here's the important bit. Once I have this kind of template going here, I can now add rows. Okay, I'm just going to add one row and you'll see what happens. If I now scroll down, you'll see I've got exactly this copied again. Now, when it comes to the creation of multiple services, obviously things like sermon titles and sermon series are going to change over time, and so I would usually just keep them blank, or sometimes I would fill in some of them. I usually don't know all of them when I'm filling this in, so that doesn't really matter. I also have a bit of a stab at these ones down here. I might change some of them. Okay, let's just say that there's a Lord's Supper on that night. But in general, this button allows me then to multiply what I've created here lots and lots of times. So I'm just going to click those loads of times. Okay, and now if I scroll down, you can see I've created loads and loads and loads of services that, well, I say I've created. I've added them to this kind of template creator that haven't been made yet. Now here's the key moment. I'm going to click this button, fill dates from first row. And what this does is it takes this value here as your first Sunday, and then it adds 7 days to that for the next one, 7 days to that for the next one, and so forth. So if I click fill dates from first row, you'll see that now the date for the second lot is on the 10th of December, 17th of December, 24th of December, 31st of December, and so forth. Okay? Now, I have a bunch of services there. When I usually do this, the information that I input at this stage doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. The principal things that the services are created, that they're at the correct time. I can change as much or as little as I need at this stage. So for example, let's say here we've got morning prayer. All of our 9:30 services are indicated as morning prayer. if half of our services are usually morning prayer and half of them are Lord's Supper, let's say, that's fine. I'm just going to leave them all as morning prayer. I know that's true for some of them. Later on, I can fiddle with them and change them if I'm not clear about how that's going to work yet in the planning. Right, so I'm pretty happy with what I've got there. It'll do me a good skeleton. I'm going to click the save button. It's going to have a little bit of a think for me. It's going to tell me 54 services were created. Now let's see if we can find them. I'm going to show the filter here. We're going to hop on to the beginning of December and then the end of February, and we should very shortly get our services indicated here, the services that we have just created. There they are. December the 3rd, December the 10th, December the 17th, and so on and so forth. So that's how we create services in the service wizard. Once I've created services, of course, I can then tidy them up here. So here I might, I'm going to keep that sermon series probably for the first few. I'm going to change these titles. I might change whether it was a morning prayer or communion or anything like that. And of course, I've got all these other fields to fill in depending on what your service grid looks like. The main thing is, for the moment, I've created all the service times. And so looking really far ahead in the future, I've got services all the way through to February, and I can start to plan them. There we go. That was a brief tutorial on how to use the service creation wizard in Klemi. Happy service creation.